give this some thought. Who prophesied about social media? Hang on and I will let you know. Just a second.
Life is a funny old broad. She keeps you guessing.
Well, I'll tell you who it was. It was Mark Twain. Because he said a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. Mark Twain didn't even know about computers then, did he? No, he did not. Well, that one's done. Okay, let's see what's the next one. Oh, no, let me show you this one. I'm going to show you just a little bit at a time. Oops, you added too much butter, sugar. Let me pull this up. Flour, baking soda, egg, and communism. Tell me I'm lying. I ain't lying. I wish I had have thought that up. You know, you can find some of the best stuff. Best stuff. I don't know who's writing this stuff and putting it together. There's all kinds of people, I'm sure. So anyway, adjective is the word libtarded. Libtard. You know, you've heard of a libtard. Well, this is a libtarded. It's when you fight for a cause you don't understand, using facts you didn't check, defending values you don't actually believe in, until someone disagrees and suddenly they are racist, phobic, or a Nazi. Oh, man. I seem to attract libtards. I really do. Unless there's just that many of them out there. You know, when you fight for a cause you don't understand, you think you do. You think you do. Have you ever seen rednecks at a bar? Two rednecks. I have. And they get into a fight and they are duking it out. They are hammering each other like you wouldn't believe it. And you know, sometimes somebody pulls a knife, sometimes somebody pulls a gun. These two are fighting like crazy until finally somebody pulls them apart. What are you fighting about? Well, he said, the guy goes, I did not say that. What I said was, and he goes, oh, and then they're back to being buddies again. These libtards are redneck fighters in a bar, drunk rednecks. They have no clue what their fight is about. None whatsoever. They didn't confirm what it is they're fighting for. And they were defending something they didn't actually believe in. According to their understanding, this is what they need to do. That's why these people are so easy to be, manipulated and sent out to march for ICE and this sort of thing. Yeah, we know there's plenty of people that are getting paid for that. But you know, there's a lot of local folks that join them. A lot of local folks toting signs. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know, and then they send tall man out. They send tall man out every time. They don't understand it's better to send this than it is to send that. Because what they're fighting for is only worth a feather, not a whole bird. Now, tall man is getting tired of being used in these stupid ways. So, see, this is pointer, this is tall man, this is ring man, this is pinky, thumbkin. You would know that if you had little kids. And you had to teach them about their fingers. So anyway, I don't know how many libtards are in your life. And the heck of it is, doesn't matter which side they're on. You can call them a libtard, but they're just retard. Retard. They don't think. Redneck, drunk rednecks. That's what we ought to call them all, is drunk rednecks. Because there's people that just run their mouth. They may say something you agree with, but when you ask them why, they come up with stuff that doesn't even make any sense. There's a lot of people that like to run their mouth. Now, Thomas Sowell, boy, he put the finger on it. You know, what are the 7 deadly sins? You know what? I'm going to pause for just a minute. I'm going to pause for just a second and look it up. Okay, I'm back. The 7 deadly sins: pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. So Thomas Sowell says envy was once considered to be one of the 7 deadly sins before it became one of the most admired virtues under its new name, social justice. Yeah. Thomas Sowell, I just wish he wasn't so old now. He's having a hard time speaking clearly. Thoughts are coming slower to him. Probably because he knows so much that, and so many things could fit there, he's got to run through them to see which one fits best. But this is true. Social justice, it started back when my kids were in elementary school. I didn't really recognize it for what it was, but it was sneaky. We were told, all the parents were to send certain products to the school for the classroom: crayons, paper, pencils, stuff like that, Kleenexes. And they were going to put them, I remember, I didn't know what they were for, just that, we need to make sure our kids have these things. So I sent them. So one day I said to my daughter, I said, well, go into your backpack and get your crayons. She goes, oh, I had to leave those at school. I said, why? She said, well, all the crayons are put in a one big thing, and we all share. And I said, I said, oh, okay. Well, where are your Kleenexes? Oh, those are all in one big thing, and the teacher passes them out as needed. I said, really? So I asked the teacher, I said, I bought these crayons for my daughter to use, because you said the parents had to send stuff for their child. So I put it in her backpack, and it's hers. She said, oh, no, we can't do that. There's so many children who don't have anything, and we need to be able to not make them feel bad, and we're all going to share. Now, she didn't realize that she was telling somebody who grew up poor. And I can tell you, there were times other students had things that I didn't have, fancy pencils with their name on them, and these erasers that you could buy, put on the top and make the eraser last longer. I couldn't afford any of that stuff. I had to use it as is, and it came hard won. But I was proud of it, that I did it. And I can tell you, I never once thought, well, I can't be in school unless I have all this stuff too, and you better give me that. So the teacher did not understand that I grew up poorer than a lot of these kids did. And I thought, well, maybe she knows something I don't about the kids. Maybe she really does know these families. No, this was system wide. And I now come to realize that it was across the U.S. that all this was being done. It all seemed to roll out at the same time. I understand that now, because we now know that the teachers' unions are commies Marxist, social justice engineers. But it has changed from we're going to quietly share so nobody feels bad to those that don't even want to try to get it. And they're like, well, you can't have it if I can't have it. So if you want to have it, you've got to give me some. Gimme, 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 gimme. Envy, greed, that's 2 of the 7. And you know what? These social justice engineers and their acolytes have added wrath to it. Wrath, because they're mad if you've got it and they don't. Oh, let's add sloth too, because they're lazy. They don't want to work for it. You got to give it to them. Give it. Gimme, 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 gimme. So sloth and envy here. Lazy, greedy, envious of what others have, mad about it. Gluttony. Let's talk about SNAP benefits. Now, pride. Very proud that they came from whatever class that they came from. It doesn't matter. They take pride in their victimhood, because you see they're all victims. All of them. They're just victims, don't you know? They're proud of that. Wow. Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Man, that's terrible. Now, let's get to the speech by Neal Boortz. He gave on July 3rd, 1998, before the Libertarian National Party, at their national convention, I should say. The Libertarian Party at the national convention. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I like Neal Boortz. Used to listen to him on the radio all the time. Called in a few times. Made them laugh a few times. Royal one time copied my laugh and played it over and over and over. And so much so, somebody who recognized my laugh called and says, ha, 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 Royal has copied your laugh. And I said, you're kidding. And I had to turn the radio on in my office so I could hear it during the day. Usually listened only in the car when I was going because, I had work to do in the office. Well, anyway, sure enough, there was my laugh. It was awesome. I miss Royal. He was a great guy. Is it a heart attack or something like that? Boom. I think it was a heart attack. Totally did not know. And Belinda can probably tell you, that was the producer of the show. Belinda can tell you the details of it, but she actually started a campaign, she and Royal's wife, to have certain tests done for heart stuff, to prevent things, to catch things ahead of time. So that was very, very good. I miss Royal. I miss him. I really do. But anyway, Neal Boortz, and I miss Neal too. Neal, it's not enough to hear you in little bits and pieces anymore. You need to come back full time. Although your voice you need to practice some more. Your voice was a little weak the last time I heard it. Okay. The Washington Convention Center, July 3rd, 1998, speech by Neal Boortz before Libertarian National Convention. Somebody sent this to me that was actually there. He thought it was pretty good. Well, I read the whole thing. When you're listening to somebody speak and you catch certain things, your mind is thinking about these things. So you may miss other stuff. So there's a lot of things that he said that made me realize that Neal did not have any hope. He really didn't. He had no hope for humanity. None. And the thing is that mankind hasn't changed. People are people. People always fall into the funnels are there. There's the low-hanging fruit that'll believe anything, anytime, anywhere. There's the don't think at all and go whatever, don't even know what's going on. There's others that think they know everything. There's evil people. There's those that are do-gooders and really, really, really want to help, and they really, really do. And then it turns into a thing that can be misused, and they're shocked out of their gourd. So these people have always existed. These types of people, and yet in 1998, kind of sort of thought this was all new. At least that's what it sounded like to me. So let me read you a few things. He said he was truly privileged to speak to a group of people who have a true appreciation of the concept of limited government. Well, libertarians do have a true concept of limited government. But I'm going to take that back. I don't think they have a true concept of it. I think they have the ideal world concept view of limited government, because even libertarians assume everybody can be like them, logical, think things through, always choose the best thing to do. They're not. Thus, we need a different kind of government. So that was one thing. He says he spends a lot of time on the air, and he did, complaining about government. He used to have a segment called, it was on 750, WSB 750, AM 750, the Neal Boortz Government Outrage of the Day. He said the material for this is inexhaustible, and it always will be, Neal. It always will be. I don't care how well things are running. There's always somebody who wants to screw it up, or who will screw it up. So the material, he is correct, is inexhaustible. He said he spent 50 weeks a year listening with, reasoning with, arguing with, laughing with, and being scared half to death by telephone callers on his radio show in Atlanta. He said that was about 21,000 hours, 175,000 telephone conversations. He said, I dare say there are not too many people who have had nearly 175,000 one-on-one conversations with people about current events, personal issues, and politics. And then he says you learn a lot and you become very, very frightened. Well, you wouldn't become very, very frightened if you were realistic about humanity and the history of it. If you've never thought of these things before, then of course you were surprised, and of course you would become frightened. I hope he's still not frightened. Neal, are you still frightened? If you're still frightened, then I feel so sorry for you, because fright, fear, makes someone not be able to think clearly. Then he said one day the caller turned the tables and asked, he says, he asked me what was the most important thing that I have learned hosting a talk show. His response came without a moment's hesitation. How incredibly stupid people are, he answered. How incredibly stupid people are. See, Neal, you had not been paying attention to mankind in any part of your life up until then. That it took 175,000 telephone phone calls for you to realize that people are stupid. If you know they are already, then you're ahead of the game, because now you know that you need to find out in what way they're stupid and then approach them from that direction and give them some, ask questions that they can understand. Neal always talked up here. You know, there was a lot of times he said things, no, I'm not a stupid person. I'm not stupid. I may have been ignorant about a lot of things and still am. There's a lot of stuff in the world I don't know about. I know it's shocking to hear, but it's true. But sometimes Neal would say this stuff and I would go, what is he talking about? And yet he's going on and on and on and ranting and raving. And yet very few people understood what he was saying. But it was entertaining, so people kept tuning in, but he was entertaining. But if what he really wanted to do was educate people, then he should have found another way of being entertaining and reaching people where they were. You got to reach people where they are. Let's see. And he says some of the obvious things. People can name actors and soap opera stars and their favorite singers more than they even know who in the heck it is in their own state that they're senators or congressmen. This is the way it's always been. So, instead of complaining about it, what you going to do about it? He does point out that entertainment is a huge, huge thing that gets people's minds engaged in something else. Entertainment is a squirrel, and we're just a bunch of dogs. Squirrel! Arf, 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 arf. Off we go chasing a squirrel up a tree. And then we go back home. But what Neal pointed out was, he said that these politicians then talk, you don't need freedom more than you need security. I will give you security, and they will trade freedom for security. He says every politician out there knows that's a winning trade for the politicians' team, the government team. The people, he said, don't seem to know, and if they do know, they don't care that this trade forever weakens American liberty and freedom, liberty for security. A great trade for despots, a dangerous trade for individuals. And he's right. He's right about that. It's the way it's always been. How are you going to change it, Neal? How are you going to teach people how to love the freedom, the liberty, more than the security? How are you going to help them to find balance between the two? Because you can. So then he goes on for a few paragraphs, diatribing. He was a real good diatriber. He could diatribe like nobody's business. On the American people. It's not the American people, Neal. It's all people in all countries. Because you see, most people just, they want to get married, they want to have kids, they want to have a family, they want to provide for them, they want to have a nice, calm life. That's what they want. They want to have a little fun every now and then. They want to go on vacation. They want to bounce their new baby grandchild on their knee and go, ooh, pie, and stuff like that. You see? That's what they want to do. And they aren't looking for power. And if whoever's in power will just leave them alone and let them do whatever, so that even the despots, the dictators, the social justice warriors, if they would just leave them alone, get over there and play in your little sandbox, and we'll go, yeah, you can have a little more money to do it, but just leave us alone. There is a balance that is there. It always has been. It's when the despots get too big for the damn britches that the people then say something. People then do something. It may take a while, but these things do happen. I mean, good Lord of mercy. Soviet Union fell. Who else has fallen? Lots of countries have fallen. Lots of despots have fallen. They've been murdered by their own people. They've been assassinated. They've been hung. They've been brought up for, oh gosh, court, charged with crimes. The people said, you're overstepping your bounds. And it may take a fight to make it happen, and there may be not everybody who can stand up for that fight, but it has happened plenty, and there's different ways of doing it. He did point out, though, that, what was it Clinton said? He says, do you remember what Clinton said after the so-called tobacco bill died? I don't remember that bill. He said that our U.S. senators need to start acting more like parents and less like politicians. Well, now we got the nanny state, don't we? Somebody heard that. And the nanny state has been pushing towards full swing since then, which is how we got what was it I just read, the 7 deadly sins that are out of control within more and more people as time goes on. And then what did that the New York City mayor-elect just say? Mamdani. That cutie pie Mamdani, who knows how to entertain, well, as long as he can get the sound to work at the right time, and whoever's operating the sound will note when he wants it to roll, and knows how to fill in when there's a glitch like that. See, Mamdani didn't. Mamdani took it personally. The sound didn't go. Made me look like a fool. I know you're going to be fired. I mean, you could see he was very mad. Instead, he should have said, hey, glitches happen, boom, shakalaka, and here we go, and made it happen. But he didn't. He got in a snit, and we could see it. So he's not a very good parent, but he promises to be one. Here's how. Neal listed it. Here, government, here's my child. You take care of him. Give me some formula. Then line up my daycare. Then in a couple of years, you can take him and educate him. I don't want to be responsible for that. You take care of it. And the government readily agrees. Provide me with health care. Even though it's a debacle, Obamacare, oh my God, what a big fat mess. Find me a job. Only now it's it hurts to get up every morning and have to go to a job. Besides, I don't know anything. Oh, you'll teach me a skill? I got a learning disability. I have ADHD. I'm on the spectrum. Give me a paycheck. Make sure it's a living wage, even if I'm not worth it. DEI hires. DEI hires. Oh, yeah. Take care of my retirement. Cradle to grave. Cradle to grave. Guarantee me this. Guarantee me that. I'm your child. Take care of me. He says, George Bernard Shaw said that liberty means responsibility. And the first one you have to be responsible for is yourself. If you can't be responsible for yourself, how can you be responsible for anyone else? It's difficult. It's very difficult. And if you're not used to thinking that way, if when you were born, your parents put you in daycare, put you in a school, a preschool, you go from daycare to a preschool to school to getting your SNAP benefits and your EBT card. When did you ever have an opportunity to learn to be responsible? You don't even have to show up to get these things anymore. You apply once, and then it's mailed to you now, or deposited into an account, put on a card that you now can swipe. There's no responsibility for that at all. See, I've got an idea. I think instead of trying to find somebody a job with a company somewhere, how much government, local governments, state governments, whatever you want to call them, they have all kinds of stuff that needs doing. So you want to get SNAP benefits? Then for every $100 of SNAP benefits, you know what? We've got these things that need to be doing. Show up. You'll do that with this group, whatever it is. It could be picking up trash on the highways. It could be trimming limbs that are hiding signage, the low signage on streets. What do you call them? Surface streets, not major highways. Lop off a few limbs. It takes you less than an hour to lop off a few of those. Stack them up where they're at. You don't even have to haul them off, because these are other people's stuff, but it's encroaching on public things. Helping to sort things at the dump. I mean, there's so much stuff. Emptying your local trash cans on the street. All kinds of things. And that's what you get if you're getting your SNAP benefits or you're getting your EBT. You might not be able to do a full-time job, but you can do some stuff. I think that's what needs to be done. But instead, people are saying, look, you take care of me and my needs, and you can have whatever freedom I've got, until they try to actually do something. And then they get mad. So he went on and on and on and on and on about stuff. I mean, goodness gracious me. It was amazing. And he wasn't wrong about any of this stuff. He wasn't wrong about how the child becomes thinking they're entitled just because they exist. He wasn't wrong about any of these things. But he says, gatherings such as these are also time to sound the warnings. And it's a good thing he sounded the warning, got people to thinking. But where are the solutions? The Libertarian Party offers this solution of automatic, scaled down, boom, everything just barely, the government barely handles a few things. We don't live in that world anymore. We have complicated systems. I'll give you an example. DeKalb County here in Georgia, in the Metro Atlanta area. Huge county. 285 runs through it. 85 runs through it. Does 75 run through it? 75 runs through part of it, I think. Interstate 20. We've got this convergence of stuff, and we've got more and more people living in this area. Just to get the highway system to handle the traffic load as it goes from 285 to 20 different ways, or from 20 to 285 different ways, or to 75, or to 85, 285 in different junctions, 400 where it comes in. It takes a lot of planning. DeKalb County cannot just fix one part of a thing, because it impacts on the system. So the system must work together. You've got your DOT, the state DOT, GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation. They handle the highways and the main arteries, this sort of thing. DeKalb County handles the surface roads, and the Georgia Department of Transportation. Along with that, they share certain things, and then the county does certain things. If the county makes a thing better locally, but the impact of it screws up everything else. Well, it's because they're not planning it properly. So, bless them, DeKalb County works with all these agencies. You've got your water runoff agencies, all these. How's it going to impact the water runoff? What can we do to handle that? Because it matters. Water runoff handled badly will destroy the underpinnings of highways, houses, on-ramps, the dirt underneath the on-ramps and off-ramps, the flyover bridges, the things upon which they sit. That's just water. It's just water. They all work together. Libertarians would take away a lot of that interagency control because it would cost too much. In fact, it really works. It works pretty well. Yeah, we've all heard of the, bridge to nowhere. Those are the misuses that need to be addressed. But I'll tell you, there was a bridge to nowhere up in Habersham County. At least that's what we all called it. It was a bridge to nowhere. But that isn't what happened. 985 came off of 85 and only went so far. It was supposed to go way on up, change the name to 365, be a controlled access thing, that sort of thing. Fit in with all these other things that we're going to make flow through there. So at first we thought this was a bridge to nowhere. People would go up to the top of this bridge and they would just sit there and look out because there was nowhere to go. That went on for, 20 years, 15, 20 years, that bridge to nowhere. But in fact, it was part of a larger plan, and that is how long it took to put everything else in place. It is a moving thing. People are like, oh, this highway work is going on forever. Yeah, it is, because it's always growing and it's always changing. And they've got these long-term plans that have in it, if we have this much traffic, what are we going to do with it? If we have this much traffic, what are we going to do with it? How are we going to connect them together? There is a lot of work. Under libertarians, I don't think we would have that kind of stuff that would work so well, because they want limited, very limited, and that I think is their, what's the word? That's their Achilles heel. They don't think long term. They have one thing they're wanting: limited government and no way to get there. That's just my opinion. However, I will close with reading the last paragraph of what Neal said. He said, if liberty is to be preserved, I am thoroughly convinced that it will be the principles of libertarianism that will do it. It may not be the Libertarian Party per se, but it will be people with libertarian ideals, a clear understanding of and love for the basic concept of liberty, and an even clearer understanding of the danger of an out-of-control government that will turn the tide. And then he says, thank you very much. Now, here's the thing. Doge, if that isn't libertarian, I don't know what is that idea of maintaining the freedom, reining in an out-of-control government, minimizing the amount of money it costs to get things done, keeping grift and graft and all this other stuff out as much as possible, because it's always trying to find a way in. Y'all know this. So anyway, those are my thoughts for the day. And love you, Neal. Love you long time. $5.
She treats you right.